Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another round of our SRL Asia Pacific Championship. And today the calendar takes us to France and to the circuit Paul Ricard. Back after about a 10-year absence, we are back to having the French Grand Prix in the calendar, and for the second year running, we are at this circuit. 15 corners, 5.8 kilometers per lap are going to be completed 27 times this afternoon, and of course we are going to have the very long straights, giving us some opportunity to some overtaking opportunities. Of course, a lot of action as well in chaos, especially in the first few corners, which are quite tight in the opening lap, and of course the weather also has its tricks up its sleeve. So with that, let's get ourselves started with our qualifying session. For some reason OBS wasn't capturing the game. Come on, thank you very much. And let's just sort everything out on my second monitor. And okay, everything goes alright. And as you guys can see, it is raining at the moment here at Paul Ricard. Going to take a look at all the data. And oh, looks like it's raining, but not enough for intermediates just yet. So the drivers are going out there, going to risk it on a set of dry tires as fast as they can. They're going to start coming out of the pits, and I see someone that is Italian Flash is making his debut today, the Mercedes driver, and is going to be the first one out there. Paul Pepsi follows him quickly. I also see one of the Ferraris, I believe it's Pirate, getting out of the session. Oh, Connor is already out, so Connor has left. He has left the session, so maybe the game crashed on him or something. Hopefully he can get back quickly. But yeah, some of the drivers are already risking it on a set of dry tires. You also have Nimble Hill just coming out of the pits. A few drivers ahead of him as well. But let's see how the Italian driver... Oh, he's already done a mistake. Hopefully he didn't get wing damage. Nope, he did get wing damage coming out of turn number 7. Got himself in the wall and is going to have to come back into the pits for a replacement. Potentially lose out on the opportunity altogether to set a competitive lap time. So now the guy who's the closest to start a lap is Apollo Pepsi. I'm going to follow with him until he starts the flying lap, because hopefully he's going to try to get one done on the dry compounds. Hopefully he has enough time to do so. Of course, it's raining quite a bit, and it's raining since the start of the session, so the track is going to become too wet for the slick tires rather soon. Nonetheless, that didn't stop some of these drivers to try to get out on those tires. Paul Pepsi is on the mediums, which might help him, at least compared to some of the drivers who got out on sets of softs, as the mediums don't need such high temperatures to work well. He did get a good exit out of turn 15 as he starts his flying lap. It's about 60 meters away from turn number 1. He goes hard on the brakes, down to third gear under the rain conditions. In the dry, fourth gear should be fine. He gets himself out of turn number 2, a bit off cambered, so it's also tricky to get the exiting right now into the chicane of turns 3 and 4 into the slower section of the circuit. Getting now through turn 5, a bit wide there from the Renault driver. Now it's going to be very tricky, especially with the track conditions coming slightly uphill through turns number 6 and through 7. It's going to still have DRS wide open at the back of this car. Yes, he does. Getting up through the gears, DRS wide open, mode number 4 of DRS as well, as he goes north of 330 kilometers per hour before going hard on the brakes once again through turns number 8 and 9. As he now goes for the second half of the Mistal straight, back on the power, pedal to the metal, 5th mode of ERS, up to the gears once again, pretty much flat out in the dry. This right-hander, you have to have a slight lift when approaching it in the rainy conditions. Down into turn number 11, this double apex, very long left-hander, also slightly downhill, forces the cars to go wide a little bit if you're not careful. So now gets to a very similar corner in turn 12, Now up to turn 13, and now very tricky braking zone once again into turn 14. A double apex left-hander. He might have corner cuts there at the end. Not sure if he nullified his lap. Nonetheless, he's going to get himself up through the last corner, going to cross over the line, and it's going to be a 133.3 that, yes, he nullified. I'm not sure if he nullified there on the last corner. Stimac also gets a bit too close to an lap nullification, I guess. I do think he got himself a bit too tight into turn number 10, as we have Pirates with a 141.9, so good lap from the Ferrari driver. Let's see if any one of his rivals can beat him. Just trying to figure out where everyone is at the moment. We have T-Mac about to get to the last corner. Is he going to set a lap time? Rystel with a 139.0. Let's see what T-Mac does. He's going to get himself through the line. He's on the mediums. Can he bring his Alpha to the top? No, he doesn't. At least not so far. 143.4 for the number 67. He's going to have to work if he wants to get himself further up the grid. Nimble Hill also got himself through the line on the arch, but got his lap nullified. And Combined YouTuber gets a 140.8, so moves up to a P2. Smitty on the Williams. He's also getting himself through the last few corners. Let's see what he does. Getting himself to turn number 15. Needs to get smooth on the power. Yes, he does. Going to get the RS wide open at the back. Going to cross over the line. It's going to be 144.7. That is also nullified. So Kona is out there on an outlap. Oh, there is T-Mac in the wall. That is the exit of turn 7, I believe. The same place where Italian Flash crashed. T-Mac also losing the rear there. And he has considerable amounts of damage on his front wing. Paul Pepsi completes a second attempt. Still got his lap nullified. But just trying to figure out, Kona is getting on his way to turn 10. Italian Flash is about to start his lap. So let's actually follow on board with the Italian driver. The only known Asian or Oceanic driver in this league. And let's see what he does. He's on his debut. I don't know him from other leagues, so I have no idea about the kind of pace he has. He's carrying himself a set of soft tires through this lap. Let's see what he does. Mode 5 of the RS before getting into turn number 4. Ooh, a bit of an hesitation there. Brings it down to second gear. Has to accelerate quite a bit before turn number 4. So, or sorry, turn 5. That turn number 4 did cost him a few tenths. He's getting now through number 7. He did get a good exit though, but he's opting for mode number 5 of the RS instead of mode 4. Some say that mode 4 does give you slightly better top end speed. He's getting himself now down to 4th gear and down to 3rd through the chicane. Smooth on the power once again, coming out of turn number 9. And now once again through a very fast section. Keeps on mode number 5. Up to 8th gear. Lifts off on the entry to turn number 10. Lift off a bit too much there. The car really bogged down on the exit. He almost spun it as the car had more grip than what he was expecting, I guess. Got himself now to turn number 12, I believe this is. Yes, it is. Spotting the late apex. Didn't quite nail it. Nonetheless, he did get away cleanly. Another tricky braking zone into turn 14. Needs to get a good angle of attack now into turn 15. So he does get a smooth exit. He's going to get himself up to the gears. The RS wide open at the back of his car. Going to get himself 6th place with a 143.2 with that set of softs. We have a few drivers who went into the pits for a set of intermediates. Kona is one of them. Kona did not complete his dry tire lap. So we're going to see how that one goes. We have General Pepe, who's going to get himself started on a lap on the softs as well. Nimble Hill, after 2 laps of hard tires, wasn't able to get the lap time. Paul Pepsi, on his 3rd attempt, did get P3 with a 141.8. So 1 second slower than his teammate, despite being on the harder tire. So let's see how that one develops. Of course, the track has gotten wetter as Apollo Pepsi's laps keep on going. Let's see how that one goes. General Pepe, of course, is going to have a bit of a disadvantage compared to his not his teammates, but his rivals, because of course the rain has been coming down. We have seen some drivers select intermediates. I'm not sure it is the best option, as I haven't seen DRS be cancelled or disabled. So that means that in terms of the delta, or theoretically, the intermediates are still the slowest tire. But it is quite weird that it's raining this hard at the moment, and the dry compounds are this effective. So General Pepe, I'm pretty sure he's going to abort his lap. Yes, he has aborted his lap, and he's going to have another go later on. In the meantime, we'll take a look at Nimble Hill, who's still in the Mistral Strait. We have Corner getting himself through turn 11, and T-Mac is getting himself through the last few corners. We also have Pirate right ahead of him going for a flying lap on the medium tires. So the rest wide open at the back of the Ferrari. Let's see how that one goes as General Pepe brings his car to the pits. So it's going to nullify his attempt. Pirate gets a bit wide there out of turn number 2. Not sure if he got his lap nullified though. It's going to be interesting to see. Pirate, who got his debut race at Canada, finished in 8th place. So hopefully he could do better than this, or better than that rather, this time around. He is improving by about 3/10 so far as he completes sector number 1. Gets now himself through corner number 7, a bit wide on the exit. He's going to get DRS wide open once again. Let's see how that one goes. Get himself up to gears mode 4 of ERS. And as you can see, the guys who use mode 4 do get a bit of a boost in terms of their top end speed. Gets himself now up through the gears coming out of turn number 9. Let's see what he does as he approaches turn number 10. He's losing time now. He's lost 6/10 to his previous best time, and he is 3/10 slower than his best mark so far. Gets himself now downhill into turn number 11 and out of turn number 12. Let's see what he does. It's 4th place at the moment, so at least he's doing well than what he did at Canada so far. Let's see, could he get himself past the Renault of Apollo? Perhaps we are going to find out. He's getting himself now through turn number 14, compromising the exit to get a better approach to 15. He does get wide. There's a tank slapper there. Not sure if he's going to get his lap nullified as T-Mac gets himself into the pits, and Pirate is going to get himself a 1.7 lap or second slower lap than his best previous attempt. So he's going to take it. Well, he's going to have another go if he wants to improve on that. Nimble Hill is going out there on a set of mediums as well, and he's trying to set himself a lap time, the number 95. We have Apollo Pepsi on an outlap. We have Smitty getting out of the way of the Ferraris, who guys saw there also on an outlap, and General Pepe out on a set of hards for an outlap as well. So that is interesting. Let's see what Nimble Hill does. Get himself through the line. Going to, he actually not opening. Oh, it looked like for a moment it wasn't opening ERS or DRS rather. Nonetheless, he does get P3 with a 141.6. We have Apollo Pepsi just started with his flying lap. He's currently on a set of softs. Smitty right behind him, also on a set of softs, starts his flying lap. And we have General Pepe, who's about to start his lap soon. Escona on the intermediates does a 1:47.1. Ooh, Smitty getting himself sideways. And yeah, he's not really getting control of his car too quickly. And unfortunately, he's going to have to abort this try. And he's going to have to try again later on. See how it goes for Apollo Pepsi, who's already also in 0 ERS mode. So I'm guessing he also corner cut somewhere or track extended somewhere, and is going to abort his time or his attempt, and he's going to try out again. General Pepe just started his lap on the hards. It's going to be a tricky one for sure. Let's see how it goes. I'm actually quite interested in seeing what kind of lap time he gets out of this, because of course he hasn't set a lap time just yet, so he could just try to go for a lap even if it is slow. You just could try to go for a lap, get a start on the hards tires, and then do the hards to the medium compound strategy. I'm not sure if you can do the softs to hards, but let's see how it goes. So, at least for now, General Pepper is not pushing too much. He's going on mode number 3 of ERS, so I'm guessing he's just trying to set a lap time just to get a banker time and then try to improve from there later on. But for now, he's getting himself on the hards, getting himself a 59.6 second sector, or the total lap time as he reaches the second sector is a 59.6. Very tricky approach to turn 11. Let's see how smoothly he can get back on the power. Woo, accelerating on the curb as well. Manages to keep the car together though. A nice throttle application from General Pepe as he comes out of turn number 12 as well. Let's see how he does now. Comes into number 14 and number 15. Actually, a bit of too tight of an approach to turn 15, I would say. Nonetheless, going to get the RS wide open, going to cross over the line, and it is P9 with a 144.1 as a few cars come out of the pits in a quick succession. Midi is also going to try again. He's currently on his second attempt, 1.6 seconds faster than his previous best lap as he finishes the second sector. So let's see how it goes for him. He's really improving. At this point he's on pace for a 141.6, which would get him up to P4, I would guess. Maybe he could beat Nimble Hill. Let's see how it goes for him as he comes out of turn number 12, mode number 3 of ERS. He's actually playing with it quite a bit, changing it quite a bit. In the slow corner, he's actually maintaining 4th mode instead of 5th. Nonetheless, going to get himself out of turn 15. Let's see how smooth he is on the throttle. The car seems stable. The RS wide open at the back of his car. A 140.1 sees him move up to a P2. He actually beat both Ferraris and Nimble Hill, though Rysel is the only one to get himself a 139.0 so far. Rysel, who has started his lap, but looks like he has aborted it as he gets himself off at the turns 8 and 9 chicane. So we have a few drivers on outlaps at the moment. Combine YouTube getting himself to turn number 13. Apollo Pepsi is a bit further back. Pirates also a bit back. We have Italian Flash into turn 11. And T-Mac also preparing his lap. So going to get ourselves to combined YouTuber just started is a flying lap. Let's actually go on board with him. Can he get himself past the Williams of Smitty? He needs to get himself about 8/10 of improvements to beat the Williams. Let's see how it goes. He gets himself turn number 3 and 4. Looks aggressive, maintaining 3rd gear there, so nice section of corners there. As he completes the first sector, the rear complains a little bit. He does improve by a 10th. He's risking it now, coming himself uphill to turn number 6 and 7. Rysel has retired from the session, so looks like he's satisfied with his best lap time so far. As Combine YouTube gets himself mode number 4 of ERS, hard on the brakes, 100 meters away from turn number 8 and 9. Getting himself now slightly uphill, gets on the throttle, even over the curb. Nonetheless, the car didn't lose any amount of balance, gets himself up to the gear, still in mode number 4 of ERS, a slight lift coming into turn 10 as the checkered flag has been shown to both Rysel and Nimble Hill, so best case scenario, they are going to maintain those P1 and P4 positions they are currently occupying. Combine YouTuber gets himself a smooth exit out of turn number 12, a little bit of a correction though. Gets himself another tricky braking zone as he has to brake, downshift and turn in at the same time. Compromises the exit of it to get a better approach into turn 15. Going to get himself out of the last corner, going to cross over the line, and it's going to be a 139.4. Great lap from him. Moves himself up to a P2. Apollo Pepsi is going to be the next one to cross the line. He's going to get himself through Pirates, climbs to P4, beats his teammate Apollo Pepsi, gets P3. So great lap from Apollo Pepsi as well, being the first driver of the second row of the grid. T-Mac on the hards doesn't get an improvement. Italian Flash is going to complete his lap. Kone did a 147.1 as he crosses over the line, so unfortunately he won't be able to beat General Pepe despite the Racing Point only doing laps on a set of hards. But, we have Italian Flash. Let's see what he does. Can he do better than his previous 8th place? No, he does not. Looks like he had a mistake somewhere. He's going to abort his lap, and that is going to be it as Smithy completes his 4th lap in a row. Not sure if that's the set of tires he's going to start the race on, unless there is a wet start to the Grand Prix. But Smithy is going to get himself 4th place at the end of this qualifying session. So yeah, the drivers didn't tell me if there is going to be rain or not for the race, but there was certainly rain for the qualifying, even though it wasn't enough to see the drivers take advantage of the Pirelli Cinturato tires, either the greens or the blues. Of course, the greens for intermediate conditions and the blues for the heavy rain conditions. Looks like the track never got wet enough for the wet weather compounds to be effective. So thank you very much, Codis, for the experience. And as you guys can see, it is Rysel on pole, combined YouTuber in P2, Apollo Pepsi in P3, Smithy P4, followed by Pierat Ubis, his teammate, who gets P6, T-Mac in P7, Italian Flash P8, General Pepe in P9, and Kone closes the top 10. So, with that, we're going to get ourselves started with our race, and just waiting for the loading procedure to finish so we can figure out if it's going to rain, at least for the start of this Grand Prix or not. Now, it is a sunny start, at least. The skies could darken throughout the race, but at least it's going to be a dry weather start. So, in terms of our strategies, if I am not mistaken, according to my data, you can start on the softs to get to the end on a set of hards by pitting between the laps 8 and 9. You can also start on the mediums and take them to lap 13 and then pit to a set of hards, or you can do the reverse. Of course, you can start on the hards, take them to about lap 19 or 20 and go on a set of softs. So it's going to be interesting what approach the drivers take to this. So we've had a few drivers go for the medium start, others for the soft, and even a couple others on the hard tire start. So we get ourselves started with our formation lap and going to take a look at the tires chosen by the field. And as you can see, the most popular choice is the red walled soft tire, even though Nimble Hill is going to start on the mediums, Kone as well, and we have General Pepe and T-Mac on the hard tire. So of course the soft runners will have better traction coming off the line, so possibly Italian Flash could get a few places off the start. Nonetheless, after I would say about 4 laps, maybe 5, the softs will start finding some issue, and it will be the drivers with the mediums and the hard compounds who will start having the advantage. So those soft runners really need to get on with it in the early laps and get out of trouble if they want to benefit from the fact that some of their rivals are starting on slightly harder compounds. Going to get ourselves done in formation lap then, as we take a look at Rysel's results. He hasn't won a race this season. He got himself P6 at Australia, P3 at Bahrain, then he missed the next 3 races to get P4 at Monaco and P2 at Canada. Takes pole here today at Circuit Paul Ricard. Hopefully he could get himself his first win. In P2 we have Combined YouTuber, who has missed the last Grand Prix at Canada, even though in the last 3 races he got a podium in all of them. In the last 3 races he got P2 at Azerbaijan, he won at Spain, and P2 at Monaco, so he was in a good form before missing Canada. Hopefully he can get back to a good result. He's on a good position to do so, as he's starting in a P2. Paul Pepsi wasn't as lucky at the Gilles Villeneuve circuit, as he DNF'd at some point throughout the race. He's going to start P3, so hopefully he could get the first podium of the season. We have a few drivers getting themselves lined up in their respective grid marks. Flyboy has joined, but unfortunately he is too late. he wasn't able to join during the qualifying sessions. He gets himself to the race. It is too late, I believe. I don't think... Yes, he's not going to get a drive, unfortunately. Nonetheless, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the French Grand Prix. Very slow start from Apollo Pepsi. Good reaction time from Russell as well. We might be Smitty challenging the Renaults. There is side by side going into turn 1. Smitty takes himself before, but gets dropped down as he takes the outside line. General Pep is already out of the session as he had contact with someone further back the grid. Pirat and Nimble are still following each other as Pirat maintains P5, Nimble P6. Corner already up to P7 out of the chaos of the first corner. T-Mac in P8 and Italian Flash is in the last of the positions at the moment. General Pepe getting himself out of the race. Not sure what happened there. Not sure if someone just missed the braking point and went into the racing point. Nonetheless, it's going to be interesting to see as Apollo Pepsi is going to be challenging combined YouTuber 4P2. He actually backs out there. The number 13 doesn't really want to challenge his teammate this far into the race. Maybe he thinks combined YouTuber is just outright faster, so he doesn't he's not trying to potter him too much at this point. Rysel already pulled away a 5/10 gap to the remaining pack. As you guys can see, combined YouTuber lost a bit of time. Smitty going wide to turn number 11, I believe this is, and both Ferraris just say thank you very much and get themselves both into the top 5. So good opportunistic moment there from the Ferraris. Paul Pepsi having a mistake, and now Pirat is going to try to take advantage of that one, going on board with Nimble Hill, who has Prime seat in the house for that battle. There's a bit of contact between the tires of the Ferrari and the Renault, and that allows Nimble Hill to get the inside line coming out of the corner. Pirat, giving the squeeze to his teammate. It's going to be a drag race between the Ferraris. Of course, Paul Pepsi is going to try to cover. Will Pirat throw himself at the inside? No, he does not. He maintains himself side by side with the Ferrari. He does maintain the inside line though, so Nimble Hill is going to have to stay put in P5 for the time being. He gets himself a bit wide, so extending the track limits to get himself better exiting speed, and he did get an advantage there. Nonetheless, it wasn't enough to get the maneuver done, so I don't think anything will be done about it. It's going to maintain P5 for the time being. That bit of a battling though did compromise a bit Apollo Pepsi, who's lost a bit of time to combined YouTuber. Combined YouTuber has gained a little bit on the leader as Nimble Hill is going to take a peek at the inside of Pirate, but he's not, or Pirate, but he's not really going to pull the trigger on it just yet. We also have Kone 2 seconds behind Smitty. No, actually, it's not 2 seconds behind Smitty. Looks like the life timing is trolling me. T-Mac is the one, I would say, 2 seconds behind Kone. So the game is trolling me a little bit as Nimble Hill goes for a spin. He does have a big mistake and he gets dropped down to P8. He might even get jumped by Italian Flash. He's going to throw himself at the inside of the Ferrari, and the Mercedes moves up to P8 as Nimble Hill has left the session. Maybe, I'm not sure if that was a connection issue or if he just rage quit. Nonetheless, it is not ideal as he is the host, so I've seen the lobbies get really screwed up because of things like this, so say a bit irresponsible from his part. Nonetheless, the race looks like is going on. Looks like the lobby is stable at the moment as Rysel, wow, combined YouTuber must have had a mistake, or Rysel just put on a belter in the last sector, because Rysel gets himself a 2-second lead to the Renaults, and it's going to be Apollo Pepsi, who I'm pretty sure is going to now start challenging his teammate. The RS is going to be available to the Renault. Mode number 4 of ERS. The RS wide open, gets the slipstream as well. Combined YouTuber doesn't really have a chance and going to keep himself in P3 for the time being. We also have Smitty, who might do a challenge at Pirat's 4th place. Not able to pull the trigger on it just yet. Combined YouTuber still hunting down Apollo Pepsi as he has the slipstream. Oh, he actually backs off on that one. He lifts off through turn number 10 to avoid any possibility of contact. Doesn't really want to lose time going side by side with his teammate, I guess, especially when Weissel is showing signs of very good pace. Gonna get himself closer to his rival as Smitty is now only 8 tenths away. Yes, Connor is 8 tenths away from Smitty. Pirat right in front of the Williams as well. So we might have a very interesting battle for a P number 4. He's going to jump to the Williams. He's going to get to DRS. He's not going to go on a high ERS mode though, at least not right now. He's going to conserve a bit of it, and he's going to keep up the pace with Pirate. Of course, the Ferrari might be feeling the pressure from the Williams at this point. Let's see how that one develops, as you're going to have combined YouTuber pressurizing Apollo Pepsi as well through the end of the first sector, and surely is going to overtake his teammate coming out of the DRS zone. Nonetheless, it does require him to get a good exit. Apollo Pepsi did get a much better exit, so I don't think combined YouTuber will be able to get himself past. Now he's too far away, so not an opportunity for him, but there is an opportunity for Smitty, who gets himself the racing line into the chicane and moves up to a P4. Ooh, a bit of a wobbliness there from Pirate as he gets himself a bit loose out of turn number 9. Got a bit too eager on the throttle, and the car complained about that one. Pirate and Smitty are coming to blows. There's contact between the Williams and the Ferrari. Pirate taking a look at the inside, can't quite capitalize on it. And Smitty is going to maintain P4 for the time being. A compromised exit from the Ferrari. Kona, the Japanese, throws himself at the inside and takes the 5th place. So quite opportunistic maneuver there from the Japanese driver. Pirate is going to get a better exit and is going to come back at him though. Let's see how that one goes. Calmly covers the inside line, and Pirate is going to have to stay put in P6 for the time being. So those drivers got themselves a bit bunched up from P4 to P6. We might have a nice battle. T-Mac was also able to get a bit closer to his rivals despite being on the hard tires. All that battling certainly slowed down his rivals, and he is able to get himself a bit closer to those in front. So for the time being, he's still 1.5 seconds behind. Nonetheless, he's going to have some opportunities if those guys continue battling. Comne now 1 second away from Smitty. Will Kone get the DRS at his disposal? Yes, he does get the DRS. So let's see how that one goes. Smitty 1.5 seconds away from the Renaults. Pirate is going to get the DRS. Kone going to get the DRS. Smitty does not. So the Japanese driver of the Toro Rosso does get closer to the Williams. Not able to pull the trigger on it just yet. Going to get ourselves up to the gears once again. Let's see how it goes. And yes, taking a look at chat, it feels bad for Pepe. Not sure what happened. Ooh, Kone there getting a bit loose. Not sure if that's setup related or if he just had a driving mistake, but the car got really loose on him. He did well to keep that one under control. That could have been the end of the Japanese driver's race, as Pirate gets loose once again coming out of turn number 12. These tires, the soft tires, coming to laps 4 and 5, as I was predicting, are starting to find a bit of issue with their effectiveness. As what happened? Oh, Smitty jumped a place because he takes the shorter line because he gets himself into the pits. So yeah, as you can see, the soft runner is going to get rid of his tires, and he's going off of them quite early though. He's going for a massive undercut. Looks like he's going for the 2-stop. He's going to get himself a set of medium tires, and he's going to come out of the pits in P8. He's going to be able to push on them because he's going for the 2-stop, so he doesn't really need to conserve any pace at this point. Jumping back to the battle, as Smitty has come out of the pits. Pirate is, I would say that Pirate would be able to keep up with Kone, since Kone wouldn't get DRS at his disposal, but that is not true, as he's actually caught up to the Renaults. And maybe Combined YouTuber, yes, Combined YouTuber moved up to P2, and maybe they had a bit of a tussle between the Renaults that slowed them down and allowed Kone to get himself within alpha seconds. You can see it's very close to Apollo Pepsi now. He's actually getting massive run out of the chicane. He might actually challenge Apollo Pepsi. No, he lifts off a bit. Nonetheless, he's very close to the Renaults, and it's going to be a 3-wide battle, or a 3-man battle for P2, as we have T-Mac, who is on the hard, so his tires are a bit more effective than the softs at this point. So the mediums and hard drivers, or hard tire users, are now finding themselves rather comfortable compared to those quickly degrading soft tire runners. Going to jump back up to Kona, who's going to get DRS on a pole. Pepsi, who's going to get DRS on combined YouTuber. Let's see how it goes. Rysel is already pulled off to the pits, which means combined YouTuber inherits the lead. Kona gets himself DRS, and even before the braking zone, gets himself ahead. Pole Pepsi is not going to back down without a fight. There's contact between the two of them. No carbon fiber getting loose, though, fortunately. And Pole Pepsi maintains is P2. Kona is forced to drop down to P3. T-Mac is very close to the back of Pirate. Is glued to the rear diffuser of the Ferrari. Let's see how that one develops as we're going on board once again with Kona. He's getting himself up to the gear. He's going to get a good run on a Pole Pepsi. A Pole Pepsi is going to have to slipstream on combined YouTuber. Let's see, is it going to be 3 wide? No, it's not just yet. As Pirate, oh, there's contact between the Renaults. And Kona had to take evasive action there. Combined YouTuber gets slapped once again by a Pole Pepsi. Kona does get a better exit. Gets up to P2. Is he going to challenge a Pole Pepsi for the lead? Let's see how it goes for them. T-Mac also overtook Pirate for the time being. Kona backs out from the maneuver. A Pole Pepsi quite aggressive. He loses the rear then. Coming out of turn 12. Ooh, there's a bit of evasive maneuvers once again from Kona, combined YouTuber, and T-Mac now get themselves up a few places. Another mistake from combined YouTuber. This race is all over the place, ladies and gentlemen. And a Pole Pepsi, throughout all that, even though his mistake happened, he manages to keep himself P1. Combined YouTuber is going to the pits. T-Mac gets himself up to P3. Kona P4. Pirate almost 2 seconds behind that group as they are going to battle once again. Kona is going to get Prime City in the house. Holy hell, he almost snagged into the back of T-Mac as he was braking later than the Alfa Romeo. He does get a better exit than the Alfa Romeo. It's medium tires versus hard tires as we approach the chicane. A bit of a corner cut there from the Toro Rosso. T-Mac gets demoted down to P3. Kona gets a look at the inside of a Pole Pepsi. That's going to compromise his line. T-Mac actually had to lift off to avoid the back of the Toro Rosso. A bit of a loose rear end as he can't quite get the traction down coming out of turn number 6. He does get a good run out of 7. He's a bit too far away to capitalize on this battle, perhaps, as the Pole Pepsi is going to have no chance. And Kona, with the use of the RS, is going to get himself the lead of these Grand Prix. In the meantime, combined YouTuber comes out of the pits with a set of hearts and a big tag slapper from T-Mac. Pirate is going to say thank you very much and gets himself up to a P3. The Ferrari guy was both Ferrari drivers were in the lobby. Just Nimbalil, he rage quit at lap number 2. But both Ferraris were in the lobby at the moment of the collision with General Pepe. So Pole Pepsi has gotten wow, Kona got himself very far away. Not sure what happened with him, but he pulled away 2 seconds on a Pole Pepsi. Maybe the Renault had a mistake while I was looking at chats. Nonetheless, those soft runners, Pole Pepsi and Pirate, are going to the pits. Let's see how that one goes. As T-Mac is going to inherit P2. Kona is going to maintain P1. Rysel, of course, is going to keep going on his hard tire set. He's going to take those ones to the end, I do believe. And Smitty also, with that undercut he gets himself a few places. Combined YouTuber climbs himself up to P5 and it really pulls away due to the undercut. Really pulls away from a Pole Pepsi and Pirate as they come out in P6 and P7 respectively. Italian Flash has had a disastrous race. He's actually behind Nimbalil, who is still ghosted. So Italian Flash not having a smooth debut. So it's really unfortunate to see the Italian driver not having a great debut. The number 69 down to 9th place and multiple pit stops already for the Mercedes. Jumping back to the front, looks like the field has spread out a little bit as Kona now nurses a 4-second gap to T-Mac. Kona is going to pit at about lap 13, I would say. T-Mac can pit at about lap 17 to lap 20. And then we're going to see how that one goes for them. Of course, Rysel is on fresher tires compared to those ahead of him, so theoretically he would have better pace at this point. Smitty Also, out of all that, gets what I believe to be net P2. Combined YouTuber and Apollo Pepsi gets net P3 and P4, even though I'm going to figure out how that one goes, because the gap starts getting close between Apollo Pepsi, Pirate, and then those top two guys. Once they pit, I'm pretty sure they are going to come out of the pits close to that 6th and 7th place. So it's also going to be interesting to see how the gap is between them. I'm actually going to bring the gap to the leader, and as you can see, Pirate and Apollo Pepsi 28 and 26 seconds away. I'm not sure exactly how much time you lose in a pit stop, but I do believe T-Mac and Kona would get out of the pits after the pit stops quite close to the guys that currently occupy P6 and P7. As you can see, Rysel about 9 seconds away from T-Mac and Kona, so Rysel really having superior pace this time around. And as you can see, he's already there on the background, lurking a bit, as he's only 4 seconds away from T-Mac. Rysel really in a pace of his own today, and looks like things have normalized. The gaps have extended a little bit themselves. Kona is actually a bit quicker than T-Mac at this point. Of course, T-Mac's medium tires, despite degrading at a quicker rate than the hard tires of T-Mac, they are still somewhat effective, at least for the next 2 laps, so it's not unexpected to see him pull a slight gap to the hard tire runners. Those soft starters, though, really shot themselves in the foot, especially Smitty is going to pit once again. I do believe he's not going to take those tires for, what is it, 16 laps? I don't think those can do the distance, so not even 16 laps, it's 16 laps left, plus the 5 he has already done. So yeah, those mediums do not last 21 laps. So he's going to go for a 2-stop, maybe soft, medium, soft, maybe soft, medium, medium. We're going to find out later on how he's going to do that one, but nonetheless, he has to push, because he doesn't have to save the tires until the end of the Grand Prix. Rysel continues on closing in on T-Mac. The gap has closed down to 3 seconds now. It is a 6 lap tire usage difference between the hards on the McLaren and the hards on the Alfa Romeo, as we also have Pirate, who has had a mistake somewhere. I do believe he was about 1 second away from Apollo Pepsi. He's now 3 seconds behind, so big mistake as well somewhere from the Ferrari driver. Let's see how that one develops as well. And trying to figure out, oh yeah, I was going to say, trying to figure out when Kona is going to pit. He's going to pit right now, and he is going to get a set of the white-walled hard tires, I do believe. Let's see how that one goes. T-Mac inherits the lead. Rysel is going to do so rather shortly. Yes, he does. Now let's see how it goes. Is he coming out of the pits ahead of Smitty or behind Smitty? I think it is behind Smitty. Yes, it is. Will Combine YouTuber get himself ahead? Let's see how it goes. It's going to be close between them, I bet. Let's see how it goes. It's going to be rather close. Kona, you can see there coming out of the pits. Combine YouTuber is going to be right on his gearbox. Ooh, that was almost a very optimistic maneuver in Combine YouTuber that could have ended in tears. Nonetheless, he gets himself P5, very, very close to Kona, who has 5 laps fresher tires. Of course, Combined YouTuber is going to have DRS at his disposal. Kona does have a bit more ERS to play with, a bit more battery charge to play with, but Combined YouTuber is going to get DRS at his disposal, and we might have a fun battle for what is essentially second place, since I believe Smitty is on a 2-stop strategy, so Rysel is going to inherit the lead once T-Mac pits, and it's going to be Kona and Combined YouTuber duking it out for second place. The Japanese driver, who started from the back of the pack, going to take a look at that, and yes, he started exactly last place, and is up to P4, so 6 places up from his starting position. T-Mac has also gained 6 places, but T-Mac has not stopped yet, as you guys can see. It's the only runner who hasn't stopped yet. Nimble also has not stopped, but Nimble is out of the race. He's disconnected, at least from the session. So it is going to be interesting to see where T-Mac comes out of the pits in terms of track position, as Rysel already gets himself 2.5 seconds away from T-Mac, so he's gaining about 4 tenths, 3 tenths per lap. So Rysel slowly but surely, he knows that he doesn't really need to push too much to catch up to T-Mac. Once he pits, Rysel is going to inherit the lead, so it's all about managing the gap to the guys we have on our monitors at the moment. Combined YouTuber also losing a bit of pace in the last lap compared to the Toro Rosso driver, so Kone really making use of the fact that he has 4 laps fresher tires, and Kone, who got himself in China on his debut, got P2, then we repeated the feat at Spain with the P2 finish as well. He didn't show up for Azerbaijan, so he got 2 P2 finishes in a row. Then at Monaco he got P3, and at Canada was the only race so far he didn't finish on the podium with a P5 finish. So hopefully Kone could get himself back to the podium performances. Combined YouTuber did get a little bit on the previous sector, mostly I would say due to the DRS. He's still benefiting from that. Kone gets a 3-second time penalty though, as he gets wide on out of turn number 10, so this could throw a spanner in the works. I'm going to take a look at the race director, as T-Mac has a penalty to his name, Rysel only has a warning, Smitty 2 warnings, Kone gets a penalty, Combined YouTuber only has 1 warning, Apollo Pepsi has a penalty, Pirates 2 warnings, and Italian Flash has a 5-second time penalty for exceeding the pit lane speed limit, I assume. So Kone does get the fastest lap of the Grand Prix with 1:35.1, so very nicely done from him. T-Mac managed to match the pace of Rysel, as Combined YouTuber now gets a penalty of his own, so that balances things out, and the fastest lap of Kone really doesn't allow Combined YouTuber to keep up with him, because of course from now on Kone is not only going to have the fresher tires, he's also going to deny the DRS to Combined YouTubers. So things have gotten a bit harder for the Renault driver, who needs to find an extra gear if he still wants to challenge for what I believe to be net P2. Going to take a look at the gaps to the leader once again, so you guys can see it's about a 3-second gap between Rysel and T-Mac. Rysel did lose a bit of pace in the previous lap to the leader, and Smitty is 9 seconds behind T-Mac. Kone and Combined YouTuber 14 and 15 seconds behind T-Mac. So those two are definitely going to overtake him. I do believe Apollo Pepsi will overtake him as well. It will be rather close between Pirate and T-Mac though. I do believe T-Mac to only go to the pits in about 3 laps time, maybe 2 laps time. But yeah, we're going to definitely see how that goes. I do believe T-Mac is going for a set of mediums to the end of the Grand Prix. In the meantime, Rysel has been just comfortable, not really gaining or losing anything really, as Kone keeps on pushing. Another fastest lap, 1:34.9. So Kone is really going for it, already 2 seconds away from Combined YouTuber, and he is pushing. He's taking those tires to the end, so he doesn't really need. He's the driver with the freshest set of tires out there, so he doesn't really need to save them. He wants to use the advantage he has in terms of the tire compound. He knows that Smitty, despite having a softer compound, is going to have to pit again, and his only chance is to try to take advantage of the pace difference, of the tire wear difference, to maybe get close to Rysel, even though the gap is very, very big. It's about 10 seconds, I believe. Going to take a look at that. Yeah, 2 to the lead, and then Kone 11 seconds away from Rysel. So it's going to be rather difficult for him, especially as Rysel is showing tremendous pace today. But of course, if anyone can try at this point, if anyone is in a position to try, that one is Kone for sure. It is a 5 lap difference in tire wear, so that's going to take an impact, especially as we get to the latter stages of this Grand Prix, as T-Mac finally goes to the pit, and I do believe he's going to get himself a set of the yellow walled medium tires. As Kone gets another fastest lap of the Grand Prix, the man is on fire, and Con and Smitty both overtake T-Mac. Combined YouTuber is going to do the same. Will Apollo Pepsi though? It might get close between him and Apollo Pepsi. Will T-Mac maintain P5? It's going to be close, and Apollo Pepsi is just going to get just enough speed to come right ahead of T-Mac, who gets a 3-second time penalty, unfortunately for him. But T-Mac is going to have fresher, softer tires, so it's going on the offensive right away, I bet. Apollo Pepsi doesn't have as much battery charge to play with as well. So let's see how that one goes. T-Mac has to lift off to avoid the back of Apollo Pepsi, as Apollo Pepsi puts the traction down or goes into the accelerator much later. But there you have T-Mac DRS, wide open slipstream, mode 4 of ERS as well. And no chance for the Renault, going to get himself up to, down to P6, as he has 7 lap old hards. T-Mac is on brand new mediums. I do expect T-Mac to start pumping out fastest laps. T-Mac is only 5 seconds away from combined YouTuber, so T-Mac might still claim a position from the Renault driver. Con got himself now only 4 seconds away from Smitty, but it is still the 11 seconds to the leader, I believe. Yes, it is. It's still the 11 seconds separating the Toro Rosso driver from the McLaren. And as you can see, Rysel got himself the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, a 1:34.7, so really answering Con's pace. Not sure he's going to be able to do anything about that one, as he finishes this lap without improving his lap time. So Rysel just showing his superiority and not allowing Con to get too excited, just showing he can also be quick despite being on double the amount of laps on that set of hards. So really a really good display of how quick Rysel is today, how dominant Rysel has been today. Smitty is going to be pitting soon for another set of mediums, I would believe. He doesn't need to extend them. I don't think he needs to go on those extra 2 laps to really take them to the end of their life. I think he could just pit right now and still just push right now and go to the pits. So we have yellow flags somewhere. Not sure who those are for. Is it Pirate? No. It's not Apollo Pepsi. It's not T-Mac. I really cannot tell. Maybe it's Italian Flash. Maybe going slowly to let Pirate through brought out the yellow flags because he went slowly. Not sure, but it is what it is. Italian Flash pits once again for a set of mediums and is lapped at this point. And just bad day at the office for the Mercedes driver. Jumping back to Rysel, going to follow with him for a lap. Going to follow on board with him for a lap. And just trying to figure out what he's doing at this point. As I was saying, T-Mac with the fastest lap, 1:34.4 on those those fresh set of mediums. So trying to get himself the extra point for the flying lap. But Rysel is getting himself very good pace. Smitty, as I was saying, he could pit at the end of this lap because just take the advantage of the life of the tires. These tires are still in pretty good shape, I would say. Smitty's they aren't falling off the hill, right? So they aren't falling off the cliff, so he still has competitive pace on them. He should just push for this lap, go into the pits, and then go for another set of mediums that he can also push because he doesn't need to take for as many laps. Only 9 laps, unless he goes for a set of softs, which I'm not sure, because those set of softs are going to be troubling him by lap number 4 of the stint. So I really think he should pit once again for a set of mediums, unless he wants to go on softs to grab the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, which is also a possibility. So Rysel going to complete lap number 18, going to start number 19 as we get a look at T-Mac, and as you can see, he has started to bridge the gap to combined YouTuber over the past few laps. 8 laps fresher tires, yes, compared to the Renault, and also softer compound. So it's going to be pressurizing combined YouTuber in the laps to come. It's certainly going to be interesting to see how that one goes. Stimac, you can see how aggressive he is through that first two corners. Now, of course, he needs to have trust on the grip from these tires to make sure he doesn't go wide and get a penalty. I don't think Combine YouTuber does have a 3-second penalty. T-Mac also has at least one 3-second penalty, and yeah, T-Mac is really bridging the gap rather quickly. You can see in the traction zones how much distance he covers, how much more aggressive he can be, especially under the brakes, than the Renault. They have the Toro Rosso of Kone not too far away as well, only 2.5 seconds separating Kone from combined YouTuber. Paul Pepsi gets a 3-second time penalty once again, so his day hasn't really gone to plan as well. The Renaults were both doing well to get the podium finish, but they battled so much that they really didn't get advantage of the fact they started on the soft tires. Combined YouTuber having a bit of a loose rear as he gets himself out of turn number 12. T-Mac is really closing in now. He's glued to the rear diffuser of the Renault. He does climb the curb there, not the most ideal of lines, especially as he got a very tight line, didn't carry the same amount of speed, and that might have been what saves Combined YouTuber. Oh, there is something happened. There was a bit of lag there. Combined YouTuber lagged and teleported himself behind T-Mac, so easiest maneuver T-Mac has ever had to do. So it is what it is, and yeah, T-Mac gets himself up to a P4 without much effort. Combined YouTuber drops down to P5. Combined YouTuber doesn't have much ERS to work with, and is certainly going to have to take DRS and the slipstream to go to mode 0 while maintaining the gap due to exactly the DRS and slipstream, and recover a bit of that, because yeah, it's really at the end of that one, the number 15, and is already 1 second behind us. We have yellow flags somewhere. Going to try to figure out who that one is for, and it's Italian Flash. Italian Flash has spun coming out of turn number 6, unfortunately for him, and he got overtaken by the ghost car of Nimble Hill, as they are both lapped at this point, so they are both on the same lap, and Italian Flash has had such a poor race that he hasn't even been able to keep himself ahead of Nimble Hill. He has considerable amounts of damage. He's going to get the penalty for completely missing the chicane there, and is going to get back into the pits for replacements, I am sure. In the meantime, Kone, 9th lap on his set of hard tires. T-Mac has softer and fresher tires. T-Mac might actually challenge for that 3rd place. Smitty, is he actually going to try to go to the end on those set of mediums? They are taking longer than he's had more laps on that set of mediums than Russell has on his set of hards. Smitty, if he's able to actually take his tires to the end, that would be a commendable effort. I'm pretty sure of that, and that would be amazing to see. T-Mac already only 1.5 seconds away from Kone, so Kone was having a very good race after his pit stop for the hards, but now T-Mac's race has really come into his own, and he's really climbing some positions. He got past Combined YouTuber, he's closing in on Kone at this point. He's really fast on this set of mediums, really comfortable, and is gaining time and over Fisses. Kone gets a 3-second time penalty. I'm going to check the race director to see how many penalties T-Mac has. T-Mac has 2 penalties as well, so he really needs to pull away. Kone just got the 2nd penalty. Smitty doesn't have penalties, so I think, yeah, I think someone else got a penalty, because I just got a glimpse of a race control message. I couldn't quite catch who that was, because it disappeared rather quickly as well. But we do have T-Mac not benefiting from DRS, even though he's already 1 second away from Kone, so it is what it is. But we have yellow flags in Sector 1 and Sector 2. Was it Italian Flash again? Sorry, I pressed the wrong guy's button. I didn't want to check General Pepper. Yes, Italian Flash is going very slowly again. So yeah, at the moment, once again, Stimac and Kona are going to get through. Italian Flash gets a 10-second time penalty for extending track limits, as he's taking the old time trial line, I guess. Combined YouTuber lurking on the background, and T-Mac is going to get himself the RS, going to get the slipstream. It's going to be side by side. Let's see the last of the late breakers into turn number 8, and in turn number 9. Kona manages to hold his own around the outside. Beautiful defending maneuver there from Kona. Maintains P3. It's going to be now a drag race between T-Mac and Kona. I do believe T-Mac does get the upper end. They're still side by side getting through turn number 10. Let's use now the bravest into turn 11. T-Mac backs out from it, and Kona gets himself P3. Great battle between those two. Great attempt from T-Mac to have a go around the outside of turn 8, but then that was an around the outside maneuver from Kona, allowing him to maintain P3. So brilliant, clean battling as well from these two, as T-Mac is going to have another go around the outside, taking advantage of the fact that he has the softest tires, therefore most grip. Kona going on the switchback though. What a beautiful maneuver. Does get a better exit. T-Mac is going to get the slipstream, going to get the DRS as well, but wasn't on the throttle as early, so won't be able to get a look at Kona. He does take a look at the outside though, but wasn't able to pull off the maneuver there. He wasn't alongside enough for Kona to guarantee him space. Kona does get deep into turns number 3 and 4. T-Mac has to take evasive action to get himself safely behind Kona. Just protecting his front wing there. He's going to get a better exit than the Toro Rosso. He's going to take the slipstream, going to have DRS as well. Mode number 4 of DRS, even though Kona is defending himself very nicely indeed. Let's go once again for the braking zone of turns 8 and 9. T-Mac getting a bit wide, and Kona once again gets the traction down earlier and overtakes T-Mac on the exit. It's going to be a drag race once again as we're going on board with the Alfa Romeo. Kona does get a better exit. T-Mac with another penalty. It is the third penalty of the Alfa Romeo for now, and it's really going to compromise his chances, as Kona is proving a worthy adversary at this point. Of course, those two battling are really going to allow Midi to conserve his tires, because he really needs to conserve those. Holy hell, T-Mac overcooking his brakes there, almost smacked into the back of Kona. There was someone setting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. I wasn't quite sure who that was, but someone did get the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Kona maintains himself ahead of T-Mac for another set of corners at least, or at least until the next run, until turn number 8. Let's see how it goes. T-Mac is going to get himself chasing on Kona. Italian Flash gets another penalty, but T-Mac is, this battle, as fun as it is really draining Kona of his ERS, of his energy, of his battery. So T-Mac is going to have a massive advantage in the next few laps. Once again, does not get a better exit, but he does get the DRS and the slipstream. He does not get enough speed to overtake Kona right away. Much cleaner this time around from T-Mac, but Kona once again keeps himself around the outside. T-Mac does get the traction down earlier this time around, and it looks like he has the advantage on this drag race. Kona can't go on it for much longer. He's almost had his battery depleted, and now what he has to do is just try to keep up with T-Mac. Pray that he made T-Mac overcook his tires, overheat his tires, or maybe just push them and therefore make them wear out a little bit more, because of course those mediums wear out quicker than the hards. So I would say that at this point there's not much in terms of percentage of tire wear. There's not too much separating a 8-lap old set of mediums to a 12-lap old set of hards. I don't think there is too much separating them at this point. Kona gets the ERS now. He is on mode number 3 of ERS. He needs to start saving that. He needs to keep himself on the slipstream and the DRS, but save ERS as well. Of course, T-Mac has 3 seconds over, or not over, but he has 3 seconds of penalties more than Kona. T-Mac has had 3 penalties. Kona, at least to my knowledge, has only had 2 of them. Corner is already over 1 second behind, so we won't be inheriting the DRS. Combined YouTuber has been able to close in a little bit to the cars ahead, but even the Renault is struggling to manage his ERS charge. So it is what it is. T-Mac is going to start closing in on Smitty. Smitty, though, doesn't have any penalties, at least so far. I'm going to confirm that, but I do not think Smitty has any penalties. Smitty doesn't have any penalties. T-Mac has 1, 2, 3 penalties. Kone has 1, 2 penalties. So, yes, Smitty. T-Mac would need to get 9 seconds away from Smitty. I don't think it's happening in only 2 laps time, even if he overtook him now. So, I think Smitty is safe. He has had an Herculean effort, really. 19th lap on that set of medium tires. So, wow, really good job, really good job, even though those tires are probably crying to get out of the chassis of the Williams there. Nonetheless, he's doing his hardest to keep those in fairly good shape. Of course, he's going to be losing time and over fist to T-Mac, but not much you can do about that one. At least he kept himself clean. T-Mac got himself some penalties, and that's probably going to allow him to get to second place. This would be the first top 5 finish for Smitty's season. He got 8th place at Bahrain, then he got a DNF at Australia, 8th place at Bahrain, DNF at China, Azerbaijan and Spain. Then he came back at Monaco with the 6th place finish, and at Canada with another 6th place finish, and is now on his way to his first top 5 finish, to his first podium as well. So very nice job from Smitty today. T-Mac is going to get himself, at least it looks like it might be P3. He just has to get about 9/10, 1 second on Corner. Corner has 1 less penalty than T-Mac, so he has to keep it clean. He just needs to not lose 1 second to T-Mac in the next lap. If he doesn't lose 1 second in the next lap, he's going to get P3 at the end. So T-Mac, despite his valiant efforts, he would get, or is on his way for his 3rd 4th place finish of the season, his 2nd 4th place finish in a row. Let's see how it goes. T-Mac has only achieved the podium twice, at China and Spain. Both of those times were 3rd place finishes. So he's either going to get a 3rd place finish or a 3rd 4th place finish. Kone did gain on T-Mac a little bit on the previous lap, but T-Mac gets another penalty, and I guess this is it at this point, as Rysel has started the last lap of the Grand Prix for him. Of course, going to take a look at T-Mac, as he's all over the gearbox of Smitty at this point. Paul Pepsi gets a penalty. T-Mac loses the rear. Ooh, that's a big mistake from T-Mac, who loses the rear, and he might actually end up losing 4th place to Combined YouTuber. Let's see how that one goes. But we are going now to jump to Rysel, who has had untouched performance. The only laps he didn't lead were after his pit stop, because of course some of the other compound starters did jump him, because Rysel was pitting earlier due to his start on the soft tires, but absolutely demolishingly quick pace, and just nobody had anything on him. He's getting himself now only 2 corners to the end of the race, and finally, there you have it, a smooth exit out of the last corner, and there you have it, Rysel finally crosses the line in 1st place. Rysel takes home the win of the French Grand Prix. The McLaren gets the win. Smitty is going to come home in P2. Kone inherits P3 out of all that. It's going to be now a bit of a drag race. Let's see what actually crosses the line ahead. Looks like Kone gets himself ahead. Smitty gets P2, Kone P3. Combined YouTuber snatches P4 from T-Mac, who gets demoted to P5. Paul Pepsi going to get home in P6. Pirate going to get P7 after his fair bit of struggling as well. Nibble Ill, despite rage quitting in lap number 2 and being a mere ghost, is actually going to finish ahead of Italian Flash. Of course, Nibble Ill being a ghost is going to be considered a DNF. Not sure if Italian Flash is going to get awarded the 8th place though. I would say so. But let's see how that one goes. So yeah, Italian Flash not having the greatest debut, really not going accordingly to plan, and is going to get himself home in ninth or 8th place. Still not sure about that one. But yeah, he got involved in his fair bit of incidents. So he really set him back, and then he couldn't get himself a rhythm. He kept on doing mistakes. He kept on having to let faster drivers through. So at least he grabbed some points, and is going to get himself started with his point collecting season. Now getting ourselves to the celebrations, as there you have it, Russell for the first time in the top step of the podium. Russell is the winner of this French Grand Prix. What an absolutely demolishingly quick performance today. Absolutely deserving of that win. He's followed in the podium by the Williams of Smithy, driver of the day in my opinion, if not for his P2, just for his 21 lap performance on those medium tires. He was the first driver to pit. He pitted at lap 4. He was the first driver to get rid of his soft tires, and it took mediums to the end. So absolutely brilliant job from him. Also keeping himself composed, not getting penalties, and benefiting from the misfortunes of his rivals. Kone, the Japanese, most places gained, even though Smithy to me is the driver of the day. Kone isn't too far behind, started in last place, was already P7 by turn number 7, and gets himself P3 at the end of it. Combined YouTuber gets P4, T-Mac P5, Paul Pepsi P6, Pirate P7, Nimbalil P8, Italian Flash P9, and Channel Pepe unfortunately retiring very early on the race, and is going to get a DNF. So this is it for today, guys. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like button. If you did not, the dislike button is, as always, right beside it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. Hit the bell icon for any notifications of whenever you are about to start a live stream or to post a video. Hope to see you guys next time, and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.